Like it's about the lyrics.
Best idea.
Nice.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Keeping Up with Cash. It's your host, Cash Money Morgan. Before I get into my guests, I just want to say this day has been kind of crazy, and I do want to thank my guests for being patient. I'm about to move into a loft this weekend. I've been sucking at ping pong at work. It's just been a crazy time. So everyone, please give a warm welcome to, okay, but how to say it again?
Chris Estes.
Estes, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start that intro
Like
over.
Estes Park. Okay.
Estes Park. I'll just start that over really fast.
Right.
That's okay. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Keeping Up with Cash. It's your host, Cash Money Morgan. Before I get into my guests, I just want to say this has been the craziest week. I'm moving into my loft this Saturday, and I've been sucking at ping pong, but you know what? Once I'm in there, it's going to be a whole new world. It's going to be a whole new world. So without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Chris Estes. I said it right?
Yeah.
Okay, Chris.
Glad to be here. Appreciate it.
I like how you just told me how to pronounce your name, and I already was scared.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Yeah.
So Chris and I go way back. Was it a month ago or 2 months ago?
Yeah, a month or two ago.
A month or two ago. We kind of met at my favorite little spot downtown, and there was a kind of a group of us, and we all just started talking, and then it came up that I had a podcast, and here we are.
Yeah,
So that's pretty much it. So right now, if you're looking at location, if you're watching on YouTube, we are in Chris's place, and this place is beautiful. It's gorgeous. All the art, all the decor. It's very intentional, right?
Yeah,
it's very,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I didn't have anyone to tell me no, so I just kind of did what I wanted and
Yeah.
sort of modeled it after a Christmas pop-up bar, and we're keeping it going.
I love it. It is such a fun little vibe, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could hang out here forever. So I definitely felt like I wanted to get Chris on here. So Chris, can you just right away just get into a little bit about yourself, kind of, where you're from and what you do, how you got to Springfield, that whole thing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm originally from Arkansas. I grew up in a small town in Arkansas called Batesville. Batesville has about 10,000 people. Went to college there as well. It's a small school called Lyon College. Then went to medical school at George Washington University, Washington, D.C. Did residency in radiation oncology in Kansas City. And since then I've been working in Springfield at Mercy Hospital. So yeah, I'm
Awesome.
a doctor there in radiation oncology.
Very cool, very cool. So how was that jump from Arkansas to DC? Was it kind of a culture shock, or?
It was, but it was great. It was exactly what I wanted. I just always had kind of the mindset that I, enjoyed learning and exploring and seeing as much of the world as possible. And I had a friend who went there before me, and he kind of told me about it and said, hey, I think you'd really like it here. Come check it out. And I did, and yeah, I just loved it. There are just so many different types of people there. Then you have all the history as well.
Yeah.
And, in my town in Batesville, it was not a very diverse area, as you might imagine. And I just love asking people about where they're from and their religion and their background.
Right.
All kinds of things. And I learned more, than I had my entire life previously, those 4 years and a half before. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So if you were offered something in DC, would you have stayed?
I don't know. I might have at the time, but looking back, I'm not sure if it's a place where a lot of people settle down. A lot of people kind of go in and out of DC, temporarily. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe I could imagine myself on the East Coast. I really enjoy the East Coast.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw this statistic, and it was saying that there are significantly more men than women in DC. Is that true? Do you feel that vibe?
Huh. I don't know.
I saw this saying it was if you're trying, if you're a single girl looking for a city, it was DC because there are all these men in politics or all these things, and I'm kind of but it's not really my vibe. But I don't know what your thought was on that. If you felt like.
I don't think I noticed that at the time. I'll say in medicine, it's there are more women these days in medicine. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Slay. Go power.
Right. See?
Yeah. Okay, so how did you know you wanted to be a doctor? Is it something that you always just kind of grew up liking, or when did that passion really start?
Yeah, sure. I didn't always know that I wanted to do it. So I think growing up, I always knew that I wanted, I was always kind of an overachiever, I guess. I always wanted to do something sort of professional and something that put me in a leadership position. And I always enjoyed science as well. And I grew up in like a Christian background. So, I wanted something where I could kind of give back to the world. So at the time, I was trying to decide between like attorney, professor, and medicine. And part of the reason is because I just felt like medicine had more opportunities. So that was one of the reasons I went into that. And I didn't have a big personal story or anything like that. I just kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So what are your thoughts on Springfield so far?
Okay.
Because I'm from Green Bay. Everyone knows that. Like, go back, go. And it's so different to me in an interesting way. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Springfield is cool. Let's see. I really like all the restaurants here. I think there's like a great diversity of restaurants. Yeah. Decent entertainment life here.
Okay.
And then
could always do better. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I rock climb a lot. I love the rock climbing gym. A lot of outdoor opportunities around here. And then,
that is true.
And you're close to Kansas City, St. Louis, and Northwest Arkansas as well. And I enjoy all of those areas. And the airport here is cool if you need to get away. It has some decent connections, and like it's super fast too. You can get there half an hour, and you'll probably still get to your flight.
Right, and you are kind of closer to your home, your original home, so that is pretty nice.
Yeah.
So, what is your official title again?
Okay. Yeah, so doctor, and the degree is MD. Beyond that, I think I'm associate professor.
Okay.
Which, that doesn't really mean anything to most people. And I'm faculty at MU as well, because we accept medical students. So
very cool.
Faculty would be another title as well.
Yeah. So how did you know you kind of wanted to go in the cancer direction?
Yeah. So you know what? It's kind of a funny story. So most people don't know about the specialty radiation oncology. Most people aren't introduced to it as a medical student because it's kind of like sort of niche. So I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was just looking down the list of all the specialties in medicine, and I came across radiation oncology, and it was just like a single paragraph or something like that, and I was like, okay, I think I could like this.
Yeah.
This is cool. Yeah.
He's like, this one's gonna be easy. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I literally could never. So.
Got this. Yeah.
Yeah.
As like big like giant machines like blasting cancer, and use of physics and biology. It's like, okay, I can get into this. So I spent some time with a radiation oncologist, just like 2 weeks. I think it was over fall break or spring break or something like that. And I just really enjoyed it. Again, I didn't really have a personal story. I didn't know anyone with cancer or anything like that. I just really liked it. I like that, the field is like always growing. There's always new research coming out for cancer, always improving. And then, you're always challenging yourself kind of in a good way. Learning how to work with people and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment maybe when you were kind of, choosing that, or in the beginning that you ever felt like, oh shoot, did I choose the right thing? Like, did that ever go through your mind at all? Or once you saw that paragraph, you're like, this is it, this is for me?
There were some other options at the time that I was kind of thinking of, but then, once I got to radiation oncology, I was pretty set that was for me. So, no, I can't say I second guessed it too much.
He's like, I'm a man and I know exactly what I want. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
So what does a day-to-day kind of look like for you?
Okay.
Walk us through it.
All right. Yeah, so it depends on the day, but so people are getting treatment for radiation, and radiation is often, it can be anywhere from like 2 to 7 or even 9 weeks long, and they're coming every day, Monday through Friday. So for me, the way my schedule works is on Monday, I'm seeing all the patients under treatment, so that could be anywhere from like 10 to 25 patients, something like that. I see them and see if they're having any side effects, help manage their side effects, checking their vital signs, things like that. And each one of those visits is maybe 5 to 15 minutes, so pretty rapid fire. And then on, Tuesdays and Fridays, I'm seeing new patients, so maybe about 4 to 5 new patients. And then Wednesdays is follow-ups and other new patients as well. And then kind of in between that is the radiation mapping. So to design the radiation plan. It's like kind of cool, like there's like an iPad kind of thing, so I'm looking at the scan and drawing out the tumor and also all the organs to be protected, and then sort of shaping the radiation around it. The computer shows me the map of the radiation and all the numbers everywhere it's going. So that's kind of like the behind the scenes work, you know,
Very
that goes
cool.
into it. Yeah. And the physics part is kind of all like built in. We have like sort of a team of physicists that does that part.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Very cool. So are you, I mean, this is probably a dumb question, but you're the guy from like start to beginning. You're giving the good news and the bad news. Is that your role?
Gotcha. Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely play a part in that. So another fun thing about oncology is that it's a huge team effort. So yeah, sometimes I am. Most of the time though, it's the oncologist. So I do the radiation part.
Okay.
Oncology does the chemotherapy part. And a lot of times they're the ones that kind of work up the diagnosis and the stage, and then they kind of come to me. But on some occasions, yeah, it's my department that does it, and we also follow the patient as well. So, you know, we tell the patient their status. Sorry.
No,
I
you're
should turn
good.
off my cell phone. Okay.
It's all good.
Yeah. So, you know, we inform the patients of their status, and, you know, we might have to tell them if there's a recurrence or something like that.
Yeah.
And their options in that case. Yeah. But yeah, it's a huge team effort to do all that.
Well, that's really cool. So are you interacting with, you know, a patient starts radiation and they're there for, you know, they're doing that for weeks. Like, are you kind of checking in, like you're with that patient pretty much for all those weeks too, and have that relationship with them? And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see them once a week to check on the side effects, but you know, they can ask me if they need anything at any time because they're there every day. But yeah, it's pretty much me all the way through. Some people ask, is it me who actually does the radiation? And so the machine, it's a robot, like basically these days. So,
wow.
you know, I'm programming it through that mapping process. And there's a person called the radiation therapist who actually kind of like turns the robot on. And, you know, I monitor what they do to make sure they're doing everything properly. But yeah, it's a robot. It would be super cool if like I could control it like a laser beam. I would be able to do that, but the robot is definitely much better than me.
You know, give it 10 years, check back in with you.
Yeah, I might. You might not. You know, I might have one in my apartment here.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna
pull it
have,
out.
so this is Robbie the radiation robot. Like,
Yeah.
So that's very cool. So obviously your job is, you know, that's huge. You know, being able to work with people and you know, all that in general is just a lot. And I just like look at myself and like, obviously different jobs matter, but as someone who does marketing, you know, I'm not having to super duper mentally prepare for my job the way that you probably are with your job. So how does that kind of look for you? You know, you're going into work, you're dealing with patients, there's people who feel like their life is ending or all these things. Like how do you prepare to go into work that day?
You know what? I think the jobs are somewhat similar in a way.
Do
to be
you
honest.
think?
Yeah.
With marketing?
I do. Yeah, because we're both there to explain something. Like yeah, I'm there to explain. You know, you're explaining a different thing, but you know, I don't know. You know, totally about your job, but imagine some marketers, some people would know nothing about, you know, what you're marketing. It's the same thing for cancer. Like people come in and they're like in class.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a lot to talk about just in 1 hour. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. So part of it is just explaining the diagnosis and the treatment, what the treatment does for you, and then, you know, I need to know all the numbers as well, because people will ask me, you know, what's the chance of cure? What's the chance that it won't show up on the picture? What's the chance that it won't spread? What's my chance of survival? That kind of thing. So, you know, before going in the room, I want to make sure I know all those numbers if the patient wants to know those numbers.
Yeah.
As for the emotional aspect, I don't know. I don't, honestly, it doesn't affect me that much. I don't know if it's just me and my nature or what, but maybe I think I just have a way of focusing myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, I'm just there to, you know, be for the patient and, you know, be as helpful as possible, give them as much information as possible so we can go where we need to go.
That's awesome. This is probably like a personal question, but we're on my podcast, so they're all personal questions.
Yeah, let's go.
Do you feel like you're a pretty emotional guy, like in general, or do you feel like you're kind of more chill about how you know? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, probably not too emotional in general.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know if that's just me or being.
So like if
mad
you're not
or-
watching like Hachi, like the dog movie, and the dog, you're not like, ooh, like that's me,
Okay. No, actually I get a little emotional during movies.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah. I started doing meditation in the past year too. And
Okay.
I don't know, it kind of opened up a different side of the brain too. And like
Yeah.
now, just sometimes when I experience something, it's just like a little bit different. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I encourage anyone to do meditation.
Yeah,
It's
just
really great.
chill and relax and yeah. So, like in the morning when you're getting ready for work, I don't know about you, but I hype myself up. Like this is so, I
Okay.
have ADHD and everyone knows this, but in the morning, this is like so weird, but I have to listen to like the fastest Kesha song or something to
Yeah.
kind of get everything moving in my brain to be like hyped up for work, and so do you do anything kind of like that to get you ready for kind of a big day? There's a lot going, you can't screw things up and all that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess I don't, but I like this idea, it's pretty sick. Maybe I need to get like a banger song just in the
you want
morning.
I'll send you my playlist.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the way to work, I often listen to music, and I don't know, it's different things. Sometimes it's a slow song, or sometimes it's like sometimes it does get me a little hyped up, like some
Yeah.
kind of EDM music or something like that. But yeah.
Okay.
I'll think about this ritual,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel that, having this day, because I have a lot of friends who also work in mental health, and in their cases, they're working with, social work stuff and, hearing these super sad stories and all these things, and then 5 o'clock hits and I'm like, hey, let's go hang out, let's have fun, and they're like, okay, I can't even get there because you don't have no idea what just happened today. Do you ever feel that way, or when, when you're done with your shift, are you really good at kind of not disassociating, but kind of having that boundary between this is work and now this is my life, and I'm not going to bring in today's emotion into that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so honestly for me, it doesn't affect me much. I don't know if that means I'm crazy
slay.
or what. Maybe I'm just too insane that I think it's normal. Like, I don't know, but yeah, it doesn't affect me too much. Maybe part of it is, I just have a way of focusing my mind, because I know that would be difficult, so I don't let it happen. I don't know.
You were born to be a doctor.
Yeah,
you were born to be a doctor.
Or maybe it's a bottle like building up, or just a pressure build. No, but,
he's like, in 10 years I'm just gonna crack. Like,
but also, like, I don't know. I don't know if the patients want me to be more personal, but I'm part of my role is to just explain the facts.
Yeah.
What the cancer is. Pictures, the science behind it, what the treatment's going to do for you, the experience of the treatment, side effects. If they want to know research studies, numbers, that kind of thing. So so spending more time on information, and then we do have social workers and those kinds of people, and just by their job nature, they're a little bit more personal, with the patient, and I'm happy to do that if they want me to, but in general, I don't know, just big picture wise, it doesn't affect me.
Doesn't
too
affect
much.
you?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
rock
yeah.
on. I mean, there you go.
Yeah, sorry I don't have more advice for everyone.
No, that's
It's
okay,
just,
that's okay.
Yeah, mind over matter,
Do you have any advice for anyone who's maybe interested in a job role that you have, or something like that in the medical field? Do you have any kind of overall advice or anything you wish you knew then?
Okay. Yeah, so it's just kind of, as you might imagine, just study hard, just work hard, get, just study as much as you can, get the best grades you can, and they're kind of looking for a big picture kind of person, so, make sure that you get into different leadership opportunities, that you do charity work, that kind of thing. Doing some kind of research is great, people love to see that. And then just study for those standardized tests. So doing practice standardized tests is super important, and they're great because they show you where you're at. You do the practice standardized test, and it shows you your score, so you can see if you need to improve or not.
Very cool.
Yeah, and network a little bit. Shadow at a hospital, that kind of thing, and see if you enjoy it, and then that way you can potentially get a letter of recommendation from that person as well.
Absolutely, that's great advice. This is a Gen Z question, but say someone because I'm honestly just interested in this. Well, I'm interested in everything you're saying, but like I want to know this question.
It's not about Tide Pods, is it? That's like
No, I'm not gonna do Tide Pods.
Okay.
Oh no, I do rock with Tide though. Not sponsored, but it should be. Anyways, so say someone was interested in the medical field, and say they're like really big on TikTok, because you know that's so huge. So say they have a massive following, like 1 million people or something, and they wanted to be, whether it be a nurse or a doctor at Mercy or something. Do you feel like having a massive social media following would hurt someone's chances in getting a certain role at kind of more of a professional setting? What are your thoughts on that?
Is this like an asking for a friend kind of thing?
No, it's not. It's not. But I've heard certain things where, just in articles or whatever, where some people like say they do different things or have sponsorships and they're very active online. A lot of companies don't necessarily like that. So I was just kind of wondering, especially just in the medical realm, what that kind of looks like, you know?
Yeah, good question.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I would think. So I think mainly it would depend on the content that the person is putting up there.
Because you know, like job interviews, everyone's gonna creep on your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your LinkedIn. So I'm thinking, you know, if you're applying for something big, you know, and they're like, oh, she's, you know, would that help you or hurt you?
I think it could potentially help you for sure. But it depends on the content. But people, you know, when you're applying for these kind of things, people do like to see that you're like a broad type of person, that you kind of excel in every point in life. So yeah. So I think that could apply to that. And people also, you know, believe it or not, like on your CV, the hobbies or extracurricular section kind of matters too.
Yeah.
Like some people are looking through hundreds of these applications and they're thinking about who they're going to be working with, and they don't want to work with a boring person. So if you have a few cool things down there, they'll be like, oh, this person is like sort of unique and interesting, you know, like let's hear what they have to say. So yeah, if you go about it the right way, I think it could be positive for sure.
There we go. All right, listeners, you know what to do. Get active on the socials.
There it is.
Yeah. So what is the hardest part of your job, would you say? What's the hardest part, and like what's like the most rewarding part?
Okay. The hardest part.
I guess for you, like what for you?
Yeah. I think the hardest part is just, you know, everyone's different, you know, and that's kind of a good way. Like, I like challenging myself, but everyone's different. And first, you know, one of the most important things is to see what the goals of the person is, you know, what they want to get out of this. So, you know, approaching it from that way, and also learning to work with all different types of people. And, you know, some people who come, it's, you know, some people are easy to talk to, and some people it's a little bit more difficult. You kind of have to build rapport and that kind of thing. And, you know, we want to be able to help anyone and work with anyone. And, you know, you never know. You know, everyone has something they're dealing with, you know, even not cancer related.
Right.
So, yeah, you know, you have 30 minutes or an hour to talk to that person, and you have to be able to read that person and, you know, ask them what's going on in their life, like if they're a little bit quiet or something like that. Or, you know, some are a little bit closed off, and sometimes you want to explore that a little bit, and you might hear like, oh, you know, my family member had cancer and they just had a really bad experience, so that's why I'm just not in a good mood today, you know, things like that. Yeah. So there's that kind of puzzle of it, that it's not just math and facts, you know. You need to work through it in a personal way.
So like emotion. I'm just kidding. No, other people's emotions.
Right,
I'm just kidding. You read me right. I'm just kidding. Okay, so that's a challenging part, which it is. I mean, in any job setting, having to balance people's reactions is difficult.
Yeah.
So what is one of the most rewarding parts for you of what you do every day?
I really love the whole thing. I just like getting things done. I like the science behind it. I love all the people I work with. You know, I think that Mercy is an excellent facility to work for. Yeah, I think it's always exciting to like see new information coming out as well. Like cancer therapies. Yeah, just stuff keeps getting better and better. I'm trying to pick one thing, but I don't know. I guess I just like
all of it. There you go. Wow, that's awesome. No, that's great. So is the hospital kind of like Grey's Anatomy? Is like, is that, you know what I'm saying? The TV show. Is
Yeah.
it like, are doctors kind of, you know, dating or messing around with nurses, or you know, is there some truth to that, or?
Well, you know.
He's like, well, I'm not gonna tell you, but you know, blinking 3 times, yes.
So let me say that Mercy's a Christian hospital. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
Like, I went to Evangel, you know, Spring by Spring. People don't mess around. You
Yeah,
know?
It's a house of Jesus, a hospital. You know. But no, you know, in medical school, sure, people got a little crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, their closets around.
Okay, well, you had it there, folks.
That's facts.
Facts. There we go. So, would you also say? I mean, I don't know if Mercy is this, but because at least in Grey's Anatomy, there's a lot of innovation happening. You know, different doctors were doing their own personal research and a lot of, you know, trying to do a lot of things like that. Is that also common? Because I mean, we've talked before about the cool thing that we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But would you say like other colleagues and stuff are ever doing things on their own and trying to get into different research to, you know, win awards or help kind of? I don't know how to word that correctly.
Yeah.
Are you following?
Yeah. Not so much at private institutions, but at universities for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
People are doing that. Yeah, it's a big thing. You know, yeah, very important part. At Mercy, we do run clinical trials. We're not exactly designing them, but yeah, we do have clinical trials available to patients who want to try out like the possibly the newest and greatest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So while we met at my favorite spot, you did mention to me something that you have kind of worked on. I don't know. I mean, if I have to edit this part out, that's okay.
You're good.
Your app. Did that release already?
Oh yeah, it's been out for a while now.
Did you have no idea what I was gonna say?
No, I knew what you were going.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know if it's been released. Okay, so I'll just edit this out. So we'll just start right here, and I'll say, so you have something kind of interesting that you've been working on. He was showing me, and I was like, this is insane. Like, this is so cool. Can you kind of talk about it?
Sure. Yeah, so it's an app for radiation oncology, and it's more for physicians and like people in training. So the name of it's called RadOnc Tables, and what it has on it is just sort of all the research that you need to know for radiation oncology, like how we got to where we are, like what the research trial was, the experimental arms, the results, the conclusions, what kind of patients were included, that kind of thing, and then the numbers, like, you know, chance of recurrence, chance of spread, chance of survival. And then it also has the links as well to the actual research study if you want to pull it up. So yeah, it's been super cool. Like, it has a lot of downloads. Like,
so you designed this app, correct? Or how did that work?
Oh, right. Yeah, so essentially all the content is mine. And then he was a student at the time, a medical student. Now he's a resident, but he
Very
sort of
cool.
just designed kind of the app itself and sort of pulled the content out. Originally it was a Google sheet that I just shared publicly and like became very popular.
Nice.
And he was
He
a
was like,
student.
pat on the back.
Yeah. And so the medical student rotated with us, and he was like, you know, what resources should I use, you know, to study and to learn? And I was like, use mine. Mine is the best stuff. He was like, okay. You know, he's like, okay. And then
He's like, whatever.
Yeah.
And he fact checks it, and he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And then he's like, this is actually really good.
Yeah.
I'm working on app development, and I think I can make an app out of this. I was like, okay.
Very
you know,
cool.
Let's do it. Yeah. It has like, I think last I checked, it has over 5,000 downloads, which
Wow.
is a lot for our specialty. Yeah. And it's free. You know, it's like a textbook of this would cost maybe $100 or something. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you guys get any profit from that?
No, nothing. No.
Oh,
It's
really?
just- yeah. It's just
So it's like Be Real. I'm just kidding.
like the app.
Yeah. No, it's your app is nothing like that. But there's a joke about like how does Be Real make money?
Oh.
You know, so
Okay. I know. Yeah.
it's okay. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's a Gen Z thing. But,
That's very cool. If someone gets diagnosed right away with cancer or something, they can totally download that app and just get as much information they can about radiation and the process and all that stuff, right?
It's more for professionals.
Okay.
Like they definitely could, but there's sort of some technical language and abbreviations and that kind of thing. So
Okay.
it takes some effort to kind of go through that, but for the motivated patient, for sure, yeah, they could download it, and I could show them like relevant pages for themselves, and like they could look it up and just know how we got to where we are and why that sort of treatment was recommended for them, and all like the numbers and statistics behind it.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So that situation was kind of like right person, right time kind of thing. The app, or is it something that you were kind of thinking about ever, or?
I think it's sort of a combination of things. I guess it is sort of right person, right time, because it's just kind of the merging of the technologies, like moving things to online and sort of things that are shareable. Just moving past paper textbooks into electronics. But it's not, not all the other specialties have done it either, I don't think. Like there's a similar app for internal medicine that kind of covers also some of the subdivisions of internal medicine, but even then, like, not every specialty is doing it. And, there are different reasons why, someone has to do it. Some people don't want to work for free. For me, it's, I like sort of giving this to everyone to use, and also it just helps me learn as well. I make sure that I'm on top of my game, so I can always keep it constantly updated for people. And then that way, I always know the newest information as well.
And it's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's
cool.
Yeah. Pat on the back.
Right. Yeah. Is there anything else, like innovation-wise, or so you created, like, basically helped create this really cool app? Is there anything else that you kind of have like a little dream about that maybe is in the works for the future that you want to share?
I'm not sure there is right now.
Not sure?
No.
Okay.
I hope I'm doing enough.
No, I'm sure you are. I just have this brain that's like, blah, 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 and I'm constantly like, what if we do this? So I don't.
Oh, you know what? You can cut that out, actually.
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah, I'll cut that out.
Yeah, so, I do sort of do a little bit of research here and there on the site as well. Because of my app, people just kind of know who I am, so sometimes they invite me into research projects. So right now I'm working on kind of it's like just like a national sort of research project on, we call it dose constraints for radiation. So like the limit you want to give to the heart or the lung or the esophagus or something like that. And we're kind of listing all sort of the established metrics from different studies, and then giving them to the experts and asking them what they use. So it's kind of going to be like a crowdsourced project, of what the experts do.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so we're doing that for each body site, like lung, abdomen, brain, head and neck, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the plan is also to sort of integrate that into planning systems as well, so it's already built into your planning system. Yeah, but I'm mildly famous in the radiation oncology world. Like last time I went to a conference, and I'd introduce myself to the residents, and they'd be like, "You're Chris Estes?
Oh no!
You're a celebrity!" And like people would ask for my picture and that kind of thing.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
The last name's
the
Estes.
The doctor is showing right now. I'm just.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's pronounced Estes, which is I don't go out of my way to correct people, but you're the Estes tables.
It was like this close to the ick. I'm just kidding. No, that's honestly super cool to be able to say that you have an app and be able to whip it out and like show people. Like that's honestly awesome and a really great tool for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So super cool. So as if someone is going through radiation, like obviously you see all these people, all these different kinds of people all the time. Is there any advice you would give to that person that's kind of going through that process that maybe you've seen others do that is a positive or helpful for them,
What process? Like making an app or? No, sorry.
So the radiation process, when a patient is going through that, is there any advice you would give to them that you've seen maybe is helpful to, you have all different patients. I'll edit some of this out too.
Yeah.
But you have all different patients. I know we didn't even talk about this in the prep. You have all different patients, and maybe that like you've seen something that's like worked really well for some. Is any advice you would give to a patient that's kind of going through that, maybe having a hard time or something?
Okay. Yeah. So if you're having a hard time, just let us know, and we have lots of resources to help you out. So first, what is the source of your hard time? What's kind of bothering you, and if it's a side effect or something like that, just let me and the nurse know what's going on. We'll do our best to manage it. we have social workers, dietitians, and we have library with all different sorts of resources as well, support groups. So that's one of the reasons I like working with Mercy. We have lots of reasons to help the patient. So first I just say, if something bothering you, just come to us, with your issue.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and just in general, ask questions and then be around your friends and family and that kind of thing. That's super important, or your church, or just whatever brings support in your life. And just care for yourself. Sometimes we forget to do that. So
that's really great. That's really great advice. Mm-hmm. So now on to like a girly pop, question.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So obviously you're this whole doctor, and you have probably a busy, fluctuating schedule. What dating status are you at? What does that look like for you here in Springfield?
Okay, I see. Yeah. All right. So
everyone has different opinions on the demographics, so I'm interested in.
Yeah. It's a little tough in Springfield.
It
it's kind
is.
of a college town.
Oh, okay, that's not where I was going.
Wait, do you want to ask the question again?
No,
Okay.
What's your dating status?
Okay, I'm single, everybody.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Are you single and looking, or where are you at on that?
Yeah, single and looking. Yeah, I'm available.
Okay. Slide, ladies, slide.
Yeah, there it is.
Very good. Springfield, the demographic is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. And what would you say would be not your ideal woman, but what are characters that you're looking for? Would you want someone that maybe has a medical background too, or what does that kind of look for you?
Yeah, I think dating is funny. It's one of those things where sometimes you don't know what you want until you see it, and also I think it's important to be open as well. So I try to do that and not have too many specific criteria. Yeah. But I think just someone fun who's easy to talk to, communicates well, good emotional intelligence. Someone who likes to explore and go out, try new things. That kind of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah, nothing too
rock climbing
specific.
is a +1. Right?
But yeah, she doesn't have to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's like, shut up, we're good.
No, you're good.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, do you have a piece of advice that you would give to your younger self? Now, doing what you do now, knowing the things you do now, what do you wish you known when you were younger?
I'd probably say to myself, just take it easy. I was always just studying so hard and it always stressed me out, but that maybe I think there's probably a way to do that and also enjoy life a little bit too. Sometimes I'm just studying so hard every day. Yeah.
Do you feel like you enjoyed college much, or were you just really on the studying grind?
I enjoyed it. I could have enjoyed it more, but no, I really enjoyed it. I was in a lot of social groups and went out a lot. So
there you go.
Yeah, I had a good time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now this one.
Hey, it's for your girly podcast. I should.
The podcast is not girly. It was a girly pop question.
Girly pop? Okay.
Yeah. He's
maybe,
what is that?
Yeah, maybe date more or something. I didn't do much of that when I was younger. Yeah.
I mean, I also I went to Evangelos, a lot of people met each other there, but also people are so immature too a little bit, when you're in college and you don't.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you're in a serious relationship when you're in college, it makes you turn off from a lot of opportunities and friends and moments and experiences, but that's just me, so that's just my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
But so just you're living life, you're doing things, awesome things. Is there anything that you struggle with sometimes? I don't know. I'm gonna edit a lot of this podcast because we didn't talk about half of these questions, but sometimes we touch on what the individual kind of goes through. Are there any challenges you ever kind of face on the personal level at all that you want to discuss, or not really?
Not too much. Part of it's just what we talked about. I wouldn't say a struggle, but just being single in Missouri, I wouldn't call it a struggle, but it's just just something that I'm working on, and I'm just always working on just building a life and friendships and that kind of thing. I wouldn't say it's a struggle, but it's just one of my goals, I guess. Just things that I work on. Yeah.
That's good. Mm-hmm. That's good. I mean, I'll edit some of this out so you don't have any struggles really. Well, just what I meant by that is stuff that I've gone through. I'm thinking I sometimes struggle with anxiety or stomach issues or even friend stuff from the past that really was a driving wedge for me, and so not that I want to but I just didn't know if there was something that you kind of go through sometimes. That isn't,
Yeah.
not like dating or anything, but no, not really.
Yeah, I don't know, not too much. Life's all right. Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Living large, honestly.
Yeah.
Very cool. Was there anything else that we need to know before we end the show?
I don't know. Yeah, I just thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed the time here, and I'm glad I just like ran into you randomly.
Yeah, it happens a lot more than you think. But so I like to end all my podcasts the same way. And first of all, I want to thank you so much, Chris, for coming on the pod. First of all, you guys don't even know I was late, and I left my equipment at my friend's house, so I had to go get it, and it was a whole mess. So thank you for being awesome.
You're good.
But what you do really matters, and it's really an inspiration to people, and how passionate you can be about like science and research, and really helping impact a lot of people. And even kind of being an example of you don't have to take your work home with you. Even if some people are more emotionally driven, like you really can kind of compartmentalize sometimes. But I end my show every single way. Fave quote, fave song, and what do you want your legacy to be?
Okay. I like these questions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so favorite quote. A quote that's been kind of going through my mind recently that I really like is different paths lead to the same destination. So
that's good.
Yeah. So, some of it you can think about it in different ways. Sometimes it's coincidence or destiny, or just maybe it has nothing to do with coincidence. It's just we're both here right now. Like, isn't it interesting that just both of our lives like led us to right here? Or, yeah. Or one time like I was just going to dinner with some people, and then my other friend was like, what are you doing tonight? I was like, oh, I'm going to dinner. He's like, oh, I'm going to the same dinner. And it's just, that kind of thing. Yeah, and it's also just a good lesson. There are different ways for you to meet the same goal. Different people might have different ways of going about life or their work or that kind of thing, but you can still get the same thing done, meet that same goal. Yeah.
That's really good. That's really great.
Yeah.
Favorite song?
Favorite song? I don't know if I have one favorite song. It just changes all the time.
Okay. We will accept favorite band. I will accept that.
Band? Okay. I really like Lane 8. They're kind of like a slow electronic music sort of thing. I saw them in Kansas City earlier this year, and it was super cool. It's one guy, and he sets up on the stage. He sort of DJs, and they had a cool thing that they did. So when you wait in line, they put a sticker on the camera on your phone, and the sticker says, "This never happened." So they want you to put your phone in your pocket and not record, and to just enjoy the moment.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, and the sticker it doesn't leave a residue. Okay, it's easily removable. So yeah, my friend did peel the sticker off to sneak a few videos.
Wow.
But that's all right.
That's crazy. One job.
I know, right?
And so what do you want your legacy to be?
Well, I hope that, I try my best with all the patients, so I hope that, whatever happens, that it's the best experience it can be for them, and, that we, touch their lives in the best way possible and get them through their treatment or, meet whatever goal they need to meet. And otherwise, my app too, I hope that, that just helps spread, radiation oncology to as many students and doctors as possible, and then just gives everyone the best tools they need to give the best care everywhere, or anywhere around the world. Yeah, so I hope that even after I stop doing it, that app continues and people
that's
still
awesome.
continue to use it.
Yeah, that's really great. That's awesome. And then, last but not least, what is your goal for 2023?
My goal for 2023.
Doesn't have to be crazy.
Just to keep rocking,
Just keep rocking. Just keep on rocking,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Just enjoy life, travel. Continue to make friends.
He's like, hop on 3 more podcasts.
See,
so.
I'm already meeting my goal right now.
No, okay, slay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again, Chris, for coming on. You've been amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course. To my listeners, I hope your 2023 has started off awesome. I can't wait for the next solo pod too. It's going to be crazy. We have the podcast party coming up soon. Buy my merch because I'm going to have it at the podcast party and it'll probably sell out after that. So, love you guys so much. Stay up to date on everything and you're the best. Bye.